The Dallas Cowboys are fighting to the finish line here in Oxnard, California. It's the final practice on the West Coast, and this is Training Camp Live, presented by American Airlines. Hey there, everybody, and welcome into Training Camp Live, presented by American Airlines. Alongside Nick Eatman, I'm Kyle Yeomans. It's the final training camp practice from Oxnard, California. It's bittersweet. Good to go back home, but it's sad to leave the West Coast a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's going to be sweet to leave, but yeah, this and leave this awesome weather.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's a process. We always talk about that. Get these practices done. Get back. When we get back, that means we're getting closer and closer to the games that count.
Yeah, and we're getting closer and closer to more and more competitive reps. Mike McCarthy said early in the week he wants this to be a very competitive practice and week of practice, fans or no fans. We don't have fans today. We had them on Monday and Tuesday, but you can see the intensity ramping up just from the competition that's on the field.
I think Zach Martin's return has something to do with that, and he's not even in this drill. They're kind of easing him in, but I think just having him back, it's like, all right, we're serious now, and I think the offensive line has really, as they have a penalty there, thank you, Tyler Smith. But no, I think the intensity, and all it takes is one or two things, and then both sides kind of raise the level.
No doubt about that. And everybody's saying that they erupted when Zach Martin returned. And like you said, not in the drill, but he's back behind the drill watching very, very closely. Here's Tony Pollard putting the foot in the ground. He didn't get touched behind the line of scrimmage. He went maneuvering around that right side. Would have been a nice gain. Good job flowing one way and then finishing the other way.
Yeah, I mean, he's got great vision, and there's always talk about, can he handle the load inside? But sometimes getting to the hole quicker than anyone else is going to be, something that helps him. And here's another running back that tends to get to the hole pretty quick.
Deuce Vaughn got to the hole there. And Osa did a nice job of working backwards as he was going up against Awesome Richards, just to get a hand on him. And a lot of times those arm tackles aren't going to hold a running back, but for Deuce Vaughn, it's going to be tough for him to break through those.
Sure. I mean, he might get some hands to the face penalties just because they're trying to grab him. But locating him, finding him is going to be, is going to be the tough part for defenses.
Quentin Bohanna, I should say. Osa Digizua in there. There's Rico Dowdle. Got wrapped up by DeMarvion Overshone. I mean, he's continued to flash by going downhill or dropping back in coverage.
I don't want to get too much into depth charts and things like that, but has that always been the order of Deuce, of Pollard, then Deuce, then Rico?
I don't think so.
But
like you said, you don't want to look too far into it.
No, you don't want to get into it, but and they're also getting people ready for games.
Sure.
Which is, I would imagine Deuce has got the ball here, is going to get a lot more reps here in the game.
Nice job by Darrell Johnson, the undrafted free agent out of Liberty, off the edge to wrap up Deuce. This is a competitive drill. We haven't seen one-on-ones in terms of offensive line versus defensive line yet. There's a chance we might get that in the next session of practice or the next segment of practice. But this is really competitive because there's no DBs. There's no wide receivers. This is just the trenches.
Right. I love it. This is where the dirty work happens, and this is where you really find the toughness of your team. And like I said before, when one guy on one team, on one side of the ball kind of raises the level, then it seems like the others respond, and that's what you want out of good practice. That's what McCarthy says he doesn't need to practice against other teams. He thinks he can get enough competition here with these two sides.
And speaking of McCarthy, I mean, it's also telling whenever there's a drill on the other side of this field where there's wide receivers and quarterbacks and DBs all involved, but Dan Quinn and Mike McCarthy are here running this drill. It shows exactly where the point of emphasis is for this coaching staff. Will Greer, hand off, nowhere going. That one swarmed behind the line of scrimmage.
Exactly what they wanted when they drafted Mozzie Smith, is to pair him up with Hankins on a play like that, and it's going to be tough to move these two guys. And then you also throw Quentin Bohanna in on that mix too. You might want to go outside on that.
That's a position that had not been at least invested in a defensive tackle for this Cowboys roster and really Cowboys franchise for years, and now you feel like there's an investment, and you can see it paying off on reps like that last one.
Yeah, Mozzie Smith, just the strength that he provides, and like you said, hadn't drafted a defensive tackle first round since '91, which was first overall pick. So they usually think they can get it with different ways, but where they were in the draft, they said this kind of strength, and also pair him up with a veteran like Hankins. I think he has a chance to learn quickly.
This is a lot of that first-team offensive line. Tyler Smith, Tyler Biotish, Terrence Steele in there as a handoff to Tony Pollard goes off the right hip.
Boy, he just hits that hole. It's just quicker. It's just quicker than anyone else, and that's typically why he's the first team. But if he can get that hole that quick, he has a chance to really break these long ones.
What have you seen from Matt Waletzko and Josh Ball up front in these drills? And there's a lot of emphasis now that Zach Martin's back for those guys to continue to step up. They haven't had the cleanest camp, but it's still an opportunity for them to rise.
Yeah, and different spots there as you see Malik Davis to the outside. But Waletzko, I think has a chance to still to be that swing tackle. He's got to learn left. He's right side. He's got to go switch back and forth. For Ball, he's still going to get a lot of these right guard reps, even with Zach Martin back. So, they have to show the versatility. As a backup lineman, you have to show that.
Let's watch the left tackle here, right side if we're looking at it from our vantage point. Sam Williams is paired to go up against Awesome Richards. So you got 54 in blue, 76 in white. This is going to be a fun battle. And Brock Hoffman, by the way, who's shown some versatility, playing center, playing guard, he's to the right of Awesome Richards. Richards actually went down to set a block on Osa as Luke Schoonmaker handled Sam Williams. That was a good rep for the rookie.
Yeah, the more those tight ends can do that, the more they're going to be on the field. Because we know he can split out and catch the ball and do all that. But if you can get in there and bang with guys like Sam Williams and hold your point of attack, then that's going to keep you getting a lot of reps. That's a good play there.
So now we've got the ones up on a 1v1 pass rush. Matt Waletzko versus Dante Fowler Jr. Good first rep for the offensive line.
Yeah, definitely. He's got that long arms there, able to kind of extend. Keep Dante Fowler. I think Dante wants some more here. We'll do it again.
Junior Fehoko was ready to hop in and said, no, thank you. I want to get after him again. Spin move, nothing going.
Even
Matt
better.
Waletzko.
Even better for Waletzko. That's good.
You love these reps.
Yeah,
this is so fun. Here's Junior Fehoko against Alex Taylor. Nope, inside. Goes against the guard and Josh Ball. Ball held up.
Just having Zach back just raises the level of intensity on this line.
Zach and Tyron Smith running laps on the other field, both of them
Oh,
with a veteran day off, and there's Junior Fehoko. Good to see him back in the fold. He's been banged up quite a bit.
Yeah, he's a guy I always, for some reason, kind of forget about with the depth there. And, I mean, they're not forgetting about him. He's a fourth-round pick. He's going to be here. But, yeah, he's got that good versatility.
Mozzie Smith versus Pro Bowler Tyler Biotish.
Tyler getting into it there. They're going to try this again. Who you got?
I'm taking Tyler.
You are the winner.
Honestly,
well,
he pushed him back about 4 yards, though. I
yeah.
mean, he stayed in front of him. He kept his feet moving. But if you're doing what Mozzie Smith's supposed to do, and that's collapse the pocket, he did just that.
Sure. But now that
but it wasn't a sack, and that was a win for Tyler Smith.
But you also, I don't hate that for Biotish on that last play
either.
because of the way that Dak will probably slide in the pocket here.
Correct.
Man, look at the punch for Tyler Smith. Who says you have to wait for them to come to you? He brought the hands to Osa.
That was a hefty punch.
It's awesome.
Awesome Richards stays put on the outside. Going up against Ben Benogu, former second-round pick out of TCU. Here it is again. Awesome Richards, the rookie. Did a great job.
He kind of reminds me of what happened last year with Tyler Smith, getting some guard reps, then moving to tackle because of injuries and kind of sliding back and forth, trying to figure out his way.
Definitely a much smaller scale than what Tyler had to deal with, but I think you would say that he's been commendable the same way Tyler has been in that. And it hasn't been easy. It wasn't easy for Tyler Smith doing the starting guard, starting left tackle move. But even as a depth piece, Awesome Richards has done a good job. That might have been a hold from Alex Taylor.
It's against Marcus Wheat there. not Marcus.
Tyrus.
Tyrus Wheat. Sorry, Wheat, Mississippi State.
TJ Bass, who's had a great camp. Lots of
there?
excitement around what Bass can bring. And then, of course, Isaac Alarcon getting some reps at defensive tackle. Mozzie Smith at it again. Up against TJ Bass. Woo! That was a fun rep.
Good battle there. That's when TJ Bass he brings. He competes for sure.
There's a lot of underrated Pac-12 linemen that seem to rise, and he could be another one as an undrafted free agent.
It's a good job by Farniak there against Bohanna. They're going to get to probably run this back. No, Mozzie wants some reps today.
He's getting in there. This is against Farniak, and there's the punch from Mozzie Smith. Woo!
That right there is a quote he said. I don't love football. I just like to hit people. And that's kind of what that was.
I think we just saw a good representation of that.
Right. Here, that's battling right there.
Brock Hoffman. Some extra pushing. Sam Williams not happy with Hoffman. Hoffman is not afraid to start talking.
Watch this one. Sam Williams, sorry, but Sam Williams said, let me get this again. This is usually
where the things get crazy.
Yeah.
Williams.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a little fire to him as well. Oh, and he fell down coming off the line of scrimmage. There's some frustration.
One more. If you're ever going to predict a fight, it would be here.
In the trenches?
Right
absolutely.
Here. If you ever predict like there's going to be –
got around him that time.
Yep.
Starting again.
Oh.
There it is. Ooh, Tyler Biotish. This is the last day of camp in Oxnard, and Tempers Flare. You could see it building. You could see it coming. And then as soon as Sam Williams won the final rep, of course, that's when things and Tempers boiled over. It's been a frustrating camp for a lot of guys. Adam Dirty now getting in, trying to mix this up and continue to push. And you want to see the competition. You don't want to see the way that this is unfolded.
And that's what we said before. That's why you don't want to go up against other teams all the time, because this happens on a regular basis here. But you could see it coming because of just the frustration there from the right before he wanted to do it, and he didn't win. That's the competition. But
it's interesting to see how the coaching staff sorted that out, and a great job of doing so. Sharif Floyd got in there quickly.
Yep, former player.
He knows. He knows it.
Yeah.
Mike Solari's been around the game for a long time. I mean, a lot of these guys had a good look at it, and they saw it coming too, and they were ready. And luckily, nobody hurt in that exchange.
Right. What I didn't get a good look, and I know we will watch it again. I didn't get a chance to see. There was an offensive lineman that came through
and hit Sam Williams. It was Tyler Biotish.
Okay, and that doesn't surprise me at all based off of what.
DeMarcus Lawrence was the first one to come up and defend
Yeah.
Sam Williams. I mean, the fact that Biotish came up there to stand up for his guy. Brock Hoffman's had a great camp, and he's been continuing to grow, but he's still a young guy. And to see some of these veterans, Tyler Biotish standing up for Brock Hoffman, DeMarcus Lawrence standing up for Sam Williams, that's something you want to see.
That's true. That's the tricky part on that one, is it's one-on-one. We're fighting. We're hand-fighting here. And then now all of a sudden you take it to another level with you coming in. And then now, all bets are off.
No doubt. No doubt. Now it's trying to keep the peace for the rest of the drill, and you want to still get good work in. Sam Williams going to get a water bottle off to the side and kind of cool down a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Looked like Josh Ball got tangled up there.
Every time we talked about Zach Martin not being at camp, it was that play exactly that I was like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him not getting rolled up on by someone else, you know what I mean? Just because that's what happens sometimes in practice. It's not even the one-on-one, it's the extra stuff.
So now after some one-on-ones and some pass rush drills, we get back after it with the team drills. Alongside Nick Eatman, I'm Kyle Yeomans here for Training Camp Live. Run play to the right. Deuce Vaughn working with the ones. Keep that in mind if you want to go back to what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, maybe going to get a little bit more reps against Seattle, which is good. That's what he needs. He needs running back reps. He needs to get those live hits. And of course, he doesn't have to take the hit if he get out of bounds. But yeah, I'm anxious to see him in the pass pros and plays like this out in space.
See, that'd be a tough tackle to make for Damone Clark. Damone Clark had already oversold to get to the outside and try and force Deuce Vaughn back in, and Vaughn was already headed that direction. Quick completion to Deuce Vaughn after the run to Deuce. And go right back to him on the ground. Not as much of a hole that time. Good job by Jonathan Hankins and Osa Odigizua on the interior of that D-line.
I was kind of curious to see if they didn't hand him the ball, was he going to get in there and block Parsons, which is going to be part of it. If you're on this 2-minute type offense, yes, running the ball is one thing, but you're also going to have to get in there and mix it up when the blitzers come.
Pressure off the left side. They go back to Deuce. 4 straight plays for Deuce Vaughn. 2 runs and 2 catches in the flat.
Think he makes the team?
Looks like it. It's an early indication, right?
6th-round pick here working with Dak.
You're on the same field as Dak, CD, Michael Gallup, and Brandon Cooks. First-team defense, and you're still making some pay. There it is, 5 straight to Deuce Vaughn. Welcome to Deuce Vaughn Live, presented by American Airlines.
Just look at the speed, with Turpin and Cooks and Gallup and CD and Deuce all out there right there. I mean, that's what Miami's trying to do down there, with those type of guys. Just spreads the whole field out.
It's hard for a defender to even keep your head on straight. It's 3rd down and short. Pressure from Parsons. Dak has to evade it, and he overshoots to the far side. Again, intended target there for Deuce Vaughn. They'll give him a 1st down to keep the drive alive. This is just no huddle, a full drive, and it's pure play call from the sideline and your communication with your quarterback.
I'm looking at Turpin here, just the fact that he's out here in a drill like this and the speed that they can provide here from the slot. See if he gets involved at all.
Got it that time, back shoulder. It looked like it might have been a bad throw from Dak, but let me explain.
Sure.
Deron Bland was on his left shoulder. Dak put that on the right shoulder of Turpin. If he would have put it anywhere else, that would have either been batted down or maybe not caught. That was a great ball from Dak.
Sometimes the quarterback has to stop the receiver with the ball, and that's kind of what he did there.
Back to Tony Pollard on the ground as he'll maneuver his way through for about 3 yards, setting up a 3rd down and 1. And again, because it is no huddle and because they are continuing to get these reps and they're trying to quickly get up to the line of scrimmage, no personnel changes. It's the same personnel all the way through. Lamb, Turpin, Cooks, and Gallup as the receivers. The only switch we've seen was Tony Pollard in at running back instead of Deuce Vaughn. There's Pollard again. Good hole, but comes down into Devin Harper. They give him the 1st down with the 1st team. So that wraps things up here from Oxnard, California for Training Camp Live, presented by American Airlines. It's been a great camp. It's been a whole lot of fun up here in the West Coast sun, but now everything shifts back to Frisco. What do you feel like the focus is going to be?
Well, I just think that you still got to answer some of these questions of position battles. How does tight end kind of figure this out, backup running back, of course, kicker as well. So, there's some questions to answer, but I think we thought this was a good football team. Sorry. It is a good football team. I'm losing my voice here a little bit. But I think that they've showed everything that we thought they would be. There's this good, tough, deep football team. They still have some questions to answer, though. Yeah,
going to continue to try and push for those answers in Frisco, as Oxnard wraps up. Cowboys night, August 22nd. Be sure to go. It's an open practice at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco, so that'll be a fun one. We'll be on the broadcast for that as well, TXA 21, throughout the entirety of the practice. But that does it for Training Camp Live. Special thanks to Alex Lilly behind the camera. Not only does he shoot Training Camp Live, but he also edits and he also posts Training Camp Live. So this wouldn't happen without a fist bump with Alex Lilly, as he does really everything behind the camera for us here at DallasCowboys.com. Sure. So Alex, great job as always. For Nick Eatman, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long from Oxnard, California. We'll see you next time on Training Camp Live.